We're in the middle of that Grixis game. Alright, so Sultai Diviner. We've got the core of some of the Diviner synergy here is Diviner into Kiora is kind of like a build your own super divination. So Soul Diviner with Kiora, if you play this on 2 and Kiora on 3, you can use Diviner to draw a card off Kiora, putting her to 6. Kiora then untaps Diviner, going to 5, and then Diviner eats another token off her, putting her to 4. So that draws 2 right away. And then Diviner also has some cute synergy with things like Treasure Map, because it puts counters on there. Karn and Vraska are planeswalkers that have a lot of loyalty on them. That could be reasonable. The God-Eternal Kefnets in here do feel a little bit strange. We don't have a lot of spells for it. I believe God-Eternal Kefnet is in here largely as a creature that triggers Kiora that's just like kind of playable and sticky. This is the card we were talking about in the Esper deck we just played. A couple of Enter the God-Eternals in here doesn't seem unreasonable. This is another powerful card to flip with your God-Eternal Kefnet, and it triggers our Kiora, and it gives you something with counters on it for Soul Diviner. So I think we should probably play a bunch of this card. Like, thinking about it, this card kind of does everything this deck wants to do, huh? Amass for, what's the rules text on Amass? It enters with the counters, chat, right? It doesn't? There's a tooltip on the card. Put 4/1/1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control one, create a 0/0 black token first. Okay, so based on that, I think the people saying it doesn't trigger Kiora are correct. I think the people saying it doesn't trigger Kiora are correct. Yeah, because, so it doesn't die as a 0/0 because state-based actions aren't checked mid-spell resolution. Yeah, it goes put a 0/0 into play, then put counters on it. And it doesn't die as a 0/0 because... Okay. I still think I want copies of this card, because it's still good with Kefnet and Soul Diviner. It's almost like reading the card explains the card. Alright. Corey Bollinger, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, now we're actually going to dive in. There are a lot of really sweet synergies in this deck, though. Diviner is this card, Soul Diviner. That removes counters from things to draw cards. It does give us another body for Apex as well, that's true. Which we are a little bit light on bodies. There are 2 copies of Blast Zone in our deck. As always, the deck list is on your screen via the Stream Decker widget, or you can type !deck in chat to get a link to the deck list. This hand is, so this is a card I've talked about not being super happy with in this format, just because it feels like a lot of the decks that you might want to shove this into are curving out more naturally. So this hand is a good example of one where I'm not even going to play Treasure Map on 2 against Basic Mountain because I don't want to take damage to play it.
Krakens, leviathans, octopuses, serpents. Oh, I love them all.
Just have a real hard time in my experience lately with this card. Kiora does let you activate Treasure Map twice in a turn. It's still a little clunky though. She does let me cast Kefnet here without shocking though, so that's nice. And now, if we draw Enter the God Eternals, the game ends on the spot, so I'm glad I put copies of that in my deck. Yeah, I agree, Teacup. It really feels like most decks in the format are curving out really efficiently now. I'm about to get double burn spelled on my Kefnet. I think we are. Yikes. I think I'm actually going to decline this, because redrawing that card is not going to help me win this game. Whoa! Deal. Deal.
I shall dry walk as something truly spectacular.
Kiora gained 8. Yep, was very, very good. I cannot believe they just killed my Kiora there. That is, like, incredibly good for me.
I've got that sinking feeling again.
Alright. They didn't play a land, so this might be a spell. Yeah, it is. Yeah, pretty big mistake for my opponent there. They misassessed how important my various threats were. I'm like, now with this Tyrant Scorn's draw, I'm just in a very good spot. And then I'm gonna hit Enter the God Eternals here at some point, hopefully, and lock the game up.
Something smells fishy here. I'll match you drop for drop. The ocean surges, life thrives.
Soul Diviner is an early play that just draws us lots of cards. I mean, like, this game's a great example, right? Like, my Soul Diviner has drawn me, what, 4 cards this game so far? Yeah, it's a decent blocker, right? Like, it's a 2-3 against this aggro deck.
Please do not do that.
Please do not do that. Poor card. Poor card.
One drop ripples and grows. I ebb and flow with battle. I love to make a splash.
Yeah, map again was just like super awkward. And I hit Enter the God Eternals here, so he should be good to go. I have a Krasis as well. Oh, I could have untapped the land. Yeah, it's gonna take me a little while to get used to all the play patterns that she offers. 10 out of 10 could have untapped the land. It doesn't matter.
Time to clam up. You're making me crabby.
Blast Zone does not die when it runs out of counters. In fact, if you take the counter off of Blast Zone, you get to kill tokens with it. Because it's sweet. Karn out matchup, he just doesn't block well a lot of the time. Thought Erasure doesn't impact the board. I'm bringing a Negate. Seems fine. Enter the God-Eternal really does say 2 blue, blue, black, destroy target mono red player. This hand has 2 pieces of spot removal in it, but all of my lands deal me damage, and I don't have any of my high impact cards in the matchup, so I'm gonna mulligan. Sand is very good. As much as I would love a second copy of that, I need to dig for some lands here. Now, I have cards like Assassin's Trophy and Vraska's Contempt to kill their planeswalkers that are also more flexible. A card like the Elderspell is there for decks that are extremely planeswalker heavy. So I could play the Soul Diviner out and attempt to block here, but there's a pretty high probability that my opponent has a 3 damage burn spell in their hand. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill their 2-1 right away. Yeah, Azcanta could be overmap, or we could just, like, play an extra land and an extra spell. I think Kefnet's fine in this deck, especially with the Enter the God-Eternals. This does also turn off Wizard's Lightning, correct? Like, the fact that these amass tokens synergize with Soul Diviner too is, like, really awesome. Gain one, draw 1 here. And then Soul Diviner lets us draw 2 more, which is sweet. Deal. Then playing a creature that we can enter this turn is great for us. Scry Sphinx over Kefnet. The 4th point of toughness on Kefnet and him being legendary are both really big deals. I feel like people are putting too much value into, like, maximizing Kefnet and just not accepting the fact that, like, the stat line on him is just fine. You know what else is great in this deck? Tyrant Scorn can pick up Hydroid Krasis.
Right into battle. Nature flows with vigor.
I should have played a tap plan there, right? So they don't have any cards in their hand.
Let's get moving.
I have 6 mana altogether here, so I think I just put this into play tapped. They're gonna draw with risk factor. No, they're not. Are they? No, they're not. Oh, because I'm not going to be able to kill it in response. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, so I know what I was thinking. I was thinking I could trophy... I was thinking I could trophy this in response to the risk factor, but that's not how sagas work. See, I'm probably dead here because I messed up. Yeah. There's no guarantee I win by not messing up, but I'm in a better spot, right? I'm very, very likely to win if I don't mess up there. My head jumped to a spot that's not how the rules of Magic the Gathering work. So yeah, so if I trophy the saga, they can only risk factor me for 4 there, and then like I get like 6 more draws next turn to try and gain more life. Alright, and then how it usually goes is after I punt very painfully, we get unlucky in the next game, so hopefully that's not gonna happen. Our deck has a lot of threats in it, Komodo. So what you're doing there is you're being results-based. If you look at our deck has a plethora of threats in it. You're just upset that you're taking one game that you watched where we didn't draw threats and saying you need to make changes to your deck. If you make a change to your deck every time you hit a statistical outlier in a game that you play, you're always going to be changing your deck.
My assistants are painfully sloppy.
Yeah, I was very almost certain to win that last game if I take the correct line.
Life thrives.
Oh, they're so cute.
They're so cute. Yeah, I think I killed Tybalt. And then I Krasis for 2. Or Krasis for 4, gaining 2. And then next turn I can enter the God-Eternals, yep. This card's absurd. It's so good. So if I do this, and then Kiora untaps a land, I can kill the Phoenix. I guess if they have a shock, they can deny me the life gain.
I love to make a splash.
Yeah, the shock still denies the life gain, chat. Read the card. RTFC. Oh, we should enter first because of shock. Yeah, that's a good call. If I enter first, I get 2 more life there, right? Good suggestion. Huh. McStinson, thanks for the 4-month 3 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I guess I sacrificed that. Now, I think I want my flying creatures here. It's a very interesting go over the top card. It's a good one. I think I still just do this. Yeah, putting up Blast Zone is probably fine here. The Negate's a really good draw. Gives me a lot of insurance here. Oh, I guess I could just Golgari Queen that next turn if I wanted. That's better. Why not attack first? They block. You could edge the dragon. If they don't, you play the other Roalesk. I mean, because I don't really care about the dragon. That card closed really quickly. 8-9. 8-9 Flamplers. Kinda decent. Eight, nine Flamplers, kinda decent. Flyers need trample. Listen, there's a lot of random tokens out there, chat. A lot of random tokens out there. I think Bioessence Hydra is a card that's just too low quality individually on its own to be worth playing. We just started with this deck, Mark. We've been live for about 2.5 hours, though. It's our 3rd deck of the day. Alright, let's Thought Erasure, take whatever their good 3-drop is, plus try and hit a land. Alright. Well, their hand's not great. I think I'm just taking this. Land sounds wonderful. If you're talking about a modern deck, I've not seen a modern deck using the Pig God, no. If you're referring to a standard deck, I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to either. So I guess the firm answer to your question is no. Blast Zone would be really funny here, you're not wrong. It's almost always, unless your opponent is close to decking, or they have a god you're clearing off the top of their deck, you shouldn't be milling your opponent with Ensure. A 5th through the breach. Yeah, it doesn't sound... A setup bar that's low, I've played worse cards than a 5th through the breach.
Are you certain of your decision?
Double spell cards are cheating! It is Pig God instead of World Spine Worm. That sounds terrible. How do you win the game without World Spine Worm?
It is best if
In fact, the Pig God is good with World Spine Worm, so thoroughly confused by the suggestion. Pilot Ninja, thanks for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hey, thanks for the 4 months, Kasaru. Welcome back. I appreciate the support. This card is kind of crazy when it gets unchecked. We have so many good cards that just, like, incidentally draws cards with. So that deck is very different from Grishol Brand. Could still be okay, but worth noting that it's very different. Worth noting that this cannot diddle my zombie token, because my zombie token has a converted mana cost of 0. Yeah, 2 mana, 2/3 is on rate for the standard format. Is a very good observation. I agree with that. This game's pretty over, right? Turns out Enter the God Eternals makes your aggro matchup good. Who'da thunk? When is the next all-day Modern stream? Don't currently have one scheduled, Casper Free. Yeah, I milled the opponent because it doesn't really matter. Their deck doesn't have anything that benefits from cards in the graveyard, and I wanted to see more of their deck. Because they're playing a Black Splash. I wanted to see if we could potentially gain some information. Yeah, I said at some point I'm going to do another all-modern day, but I don't currently have one scheduled. In the sideboard, there could be a Johnny. That's true. Thanks for the tip, Storyteller. From Team Discord Fairies, thanks for representing that. Thanks for the support, Storyteller. Blast Zone felt like bad news bears for the Tron matchup for that deck, though. just like bring in all my removal here. And again, I think we just cut Karn and treasure map. If I wasn't locked into an event, I'd probably cut this all together and trim one of these, I think. Am I streaming tomorrow or Esper Hero likely be Monday? I'm pretty sure I'm taking tomorrow off. Tomorrow's Mother's Day and I've done the last 6 days, so probably end up taking tomorrow off. I'm just gonna cut the Thought Erasures. Just bring in another removal spell. Seems fine. Yeah, you should probably have at least 3 Enter the God-Eternals in your 75 if you're playing a blue-black mid-ranger control deck. It's very good. I mean, a better way to phrase your question, Persip, is probably, do we think Diviner fits into Esper Hero, right? Because, like, it triggers Hero, which I think the answer is potentially yes. Yeah, Blast Zone plus Diviner lets Blast Zone kill all the tokens. Maybe this hand wasn't supposed to be a keep. I don't know, I like focused on the Ritual of Soot, but maybe that's good. It's got Blast Zone in it too, which is good here. Trophy's actually a good draw here, because it's going to let me kill the Dauntless Bodyguard. Which is otherwise going to protect one of their things. Yeah, I don't think the Black Finale is very good. I think it's good specifically against White Weenie, but outside of White Weenie, it seems very narrow. 3 Blast Zones seems fine. I've been playing 2 Blast Zones in a Field of Ruin in my blue-black mid-range deck with Kefnet. Tweak the Jeskai Niv deck from last season's to play the new Blue-White Walkers. Niv is really strong with Rail combo as a possibility and Teferi disabling. Teferi's a very good Planeswalker for sure. They make their squad indestructible. We're dead here. They did not, so we're probably good. So, if I Assassin's Trophy the thing the bodyguard is protecting, they still get the land, Chewy. Them getting a land is not contingent on the thing it's protecting leaving play. Are there any cards that make tokens or something that could feed 4-mana Vraska in this deck? Her just +2ing every turn is, like, okay with Diviner, but I'm, like, wondering, like, are there cards we could play to make that better?
Don't flatter yourself.
Niv has been weaker recently with all the Narsets running around. Yeah, I'd believe that, too. Biogenic Ooze is Winmore. If your Biogenic Ooze is living long enough to make copies of itself. Ooh, the Amassed Bitter Blossom. That's the answer. That's the ticket, chat. All right, I'm actually gonna resign from this and make some changes to the deck list here, because we break even at 2-0. Because the zombie Bitter Blossom is good with Vraska, but also good with Diviner, right? Because Diviner can eat the zombie. What is that? What is that card called? Dreadhorde Invasion. Yeah, I like that. I like that one a lot. That's that last little bit of synergy I think we're missing. Because Karn and whatnot was feeling a little awkward. Yeah, build your own Phyrexian Arena. Alright, so do I want... I feel like I want a 26th land in here. Is that... Maybe I don't need 26 lands because Kiora is a ramp spell. I can just play another actual spell in here. Like, slide this Enter the God-Eternal as the last enter into the main deck. We could play Contempt. We could also play Trophy. I don't hate main decking Trophy. Just like good and flexible and like cheap-ish against aggro. I don't hate that. Kills Wilderness Reclamation too. Another card that doesn't get a discount from Kefnet, but like is good with him. Reaper, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. More Dreadhorde Invasion, make roll the Apex Hybrid a little bit better. Gives us more creatures at the bottom end. Well, we're not playing 26 lands. I'm playing 25. But generally speaking, you want 25 plus lands in decks that are trying to curve to 4 and 5 consistently, so you don't stumble and die. Past that, one of the things that enough people don't consider is you tend to lose way more games to being mana screwed than you will to being mana flooded. And when you have utility lands like Blast Zone, like Mobilized District, like Field of Ruin, it's often correct to play more lands than you think you might need, because it's easier to play from behind with utility lands than it is to play from behind without enough lands. Also, let's foil this bad man Majima. He's beautiful. Do. Yeah, the fact that this gains us life back here too is good. I've got one slot in my sideboard at the moment. I feel like I want another anti-control card. I kind of feel like I want another anti-control card. What is how does this deck board against control? So I'd want to cut against control. I want to cut these two, and these 3. So that's 7 cards I want to cut against control. And right now I have 2 Negate, an Elderspell, Trophy, 2 Narsets. I guess I'm actually okay against control. I've got Contempt too. I'm gonna throw an extra Negate in for now because the card's good against Reclamation, and I hate Reclamation. All right, we're gonna play a couple more matches with this. This one seems sweet. I'm gonna run to the restroom though really quick. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Be right back. All right, and at the risk of my double-digit ladder rank, I think I'm actually gonna go play this one on the ladder. It felt cohesive. I feel like I'm playing a lot of constructed playable cards, and the strategy feels relatively cohesive. So let's do it. Got to buy food, but I'm addicted to this stream. Would you help me out with the timeout? Also, I need that bit badge. I got you, Top Toe. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. You know, it's also possible, so Aitz just mentioned Thief of Sanity there in chat. It's possible that Thief of Sanity is a card that this deck wants, because, like, Diviner is kind of like a Lightning Rod on 2 that they need to kill, so, like, if they kill Diviner on 2, they're then less likely to be able to kill Thief on 3. We got you, Rue. Get this going before I get this down, I think.
We won't answer to other guilds.
It's a lot of Diviners. Hoping for a land next turn. If they have a fat creature here, which they're likely to, Domri would let them kill Soul Diviner. Nissa, who shakes the world. That's a big gal. That is a big gal. Land. I guess I get a redraw. This is where the magic happens. We're dead, right? Yeah, we're dead. We're Sultai Divider and not Sultai land drops, right? She probably doesn't quite kill enough. I think I'm gonna trim at least one of these. I think including some Enter the God-Eternals and Esper Narset could improve its aggro matchup. Yeah, but I don't know that the aggro matchup's bad necessarily. So like, if I play the aggro matchup a bunch with that deck and I conclude it's bad, I think Enter the God-Eternals is a good card for improving it. But I don't know with certainty that like that's something that needs improving. It's something I would need to test. I played like half a match against aggro and it wasn't even stock mono red. Do we rage add the 26 land down? No, I think we just, in the words of the greatest poet of our generation, we just shake it off. Shake it off and move on to the next one now. I'm gonna mulligan this hand because not only does it need to draw spells to be good, but it needs to draw lands too, right? Because I don't even have double black. This hand is a much better example of a keepable hand, even though it's a little bit land heavy, because this hand only needs to draw spells. Like those. Like those. I think we bring in Elderspell against my opponent's Domri Nissa deck. They probably have, like, Sarkin too. Cindervine, Spellbreaker, Lava Coil. I think I'm just going to take the Cindervines. This guarantees I curve out to Enter the God-Eternal to deal with the Girl Spellbreaker. No box. That was an excellent draw. This card's just good. This card's just good on rate. Like, we don't have a ton of cards that he flips over for value on his text box, but you just like you basically just want to ask yourself the question, like, is a 4/5 flying legendary creature playable? And I think the answer is yes a lot of the time. And, like, obviously, since I chose to trade 2 for 1 here, I'm going to immediately draw a card that would have given me value off of him, but I think it's right to trade there. So if they play Nissa next turn, I get to Enter the God-Eternals and kill their land. So that sounds nice. And Baby Krasis is even better in this deck than a lot of other decks because Baby Krasis in this deck draws cards off of Soul Diviner, right? So it's going to draw more than one card. Wow, they untapped a Forest here too, which seems great for us because it means I get to kill one of their double lands. Huh. Alright, I think because I drew this, I'm gonna hold on to the enter for now. I think rather than draw a card with Soul Diviner this turn, I'm gonna give her a love tap for 3. This puts her to 4, which means God-Eternal Kefnet kills her next turn on his own. Alright, so we're in a pretty good spot here.
Harness the elements.
Yep, opponent agrees we're in a pretty good spot. Yes, Soul Diviner into the God Eternals is quite wonky. Quite powerful. Did I not bring in my 4th Tyrant Scorn that game? I'm glad we didn't get punished for that. I'm gonna trim a Kiora here, I think. Kiora enabling turn 4 enter is sweet as well. Like, these can be 4-drops in this deck. I like a lot of what's going on here. I feel like we have, like, very reasonable synergies. Like, I feel like this deck has both individually powerful cards that also synergize with each other. And generally speaking, that's how you want to play a synergy deck in Standard. You want your cards to be great together, but you want them to be good individually on their own. Into the shame corner, Hinterland Harbor. Into the shame corner.
I've lived with animals my entire life.
Alright, show me one threat, please. Yikes! I take Domri, I think. They brick on a land. They can't cast either of these this turn. Never lucky. The problem is, like, killing the Nissa leaves behind a thing still. So like there's still stuff for them to do.
I must go.
I think we're probably dead here. Just a little bit too good. I needed them to brick on the land for the turn, basically. If I'd have been able to trophy the Nissa the turn they played her, we'd have been in a very good spot. But like now I'm taking, what, like 11 on this attack? Yeah, just ran the lands off. There's not a whole lot we could do here. That was like their nuts, right? Like they had Elf into Domri into multiple threats for our Thought Erasure. I don't think their draw really gets much better than that. No, my opponent's nowhere near Mythic. You can tell how far along they are in Diamond by the size of the icon next to their name. They were likely in Diamond 4 or Diamond 3. I think that was Diamond 4. Yeah, and that's why playing the aggro decks are good, right? Like sometimes the aggro decks just have those unbeatable curves and you get run out. Like, I'm not going to go and, like, make changes to this deck or think my deck is bad just because, like, my opponent had their best draw possible game 3 when they were on the play. I think the first is very likely to happen. I think the second is very hard to predict, Pythrion. It's, like, not amazing, but fine. I'd love to draw a 2-drop. I've got a lot of those. My opponent's mulligan to 4, so it probably doesn't matter what my hand is. There's the 2-drop I asked for Christmas. Well, so, Chalky, and this is something that I said about Frontier a lot, you're having fun with block constructed. Casual Magic is one of the most fun games in the world, because there's lots of wacky things you can do and combinations of things, but nobody's, like, min-maxing it, right? And, like, the block constructed that you're currently playing is Casual Magic. No one's min-maxing it. So, like, in a world where, like, people really care about block constructed, there's a good chance it becomes a lot less fun. I think I just Krasis for 2 here since I drew this and can curve into it. F&M level Modern is the best format, and tournament level Modern is the worst. Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. Gosh, these 3-color decks that are full of foils are just such a joy to play. Block Magic is, so just Ravnica. So block is, right now is Guilds, Allegiance, and War. Just those 3 sets, right? I believe. I guess block is weird because we don't technically have blocks anymore, but is that what it is? Once upon a time, Magic had blocks. We technically don't right now. Once upon a time, Lid Simi existed, yep. Alright, opponent mulligan to Oblivion there with their man deck. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot to see. I think Ritual of Soot's probably pretty good here. The extra Tyrant Scorn seems reasonable. I think Enter the God-Eternal is probably a little bit too slow, actually. Trophy seems fine. They're pretty likely to have Planeswalkers in their deck, right? So I think Contempt's okay. I think Dreadhorde Invasion probably leaves a bit to be desired against the Knight of Autumn deck. And then another question is, do I want Narset in my deck because she stonewalls their Hydroid Krasis? I'm not sure that I do. Not sure that I do. Need one more cut from my deck right now as is. Maybe I don't want both the Ritual of Soot. They're not super aggressive. Having one defined as a reset button is probably okay, though. Narset does not stop land draws off Explore. Exploring is technically not drawing cards. Yeah, I don't know that Soot is that important with our spot removal. Seems okay. Got all of our colors, got a couple of pieces of early interaction. He's got 2 pieces of shame in it, but, you know, what can you do? Yeah, we've cast Apex Predator a few times. Card's really good. Their land is not really what we're looking for. That's true, Fearburger. It's definitely an apt assessment.
excellent timing.
I assume we're just gonna see this draw card right away. Wow, that's great for me.
I have a
Deal.
plan.
How far into this deck are we? We are currently, I guess we're almost an hour in already. Slide out the untapped land tier, just in case they give me something I want to contempt. Like that. I want to contempt that.
I won't hide from the world any longer.
Hey, Furious Squirrel, coming out with that tier 3 resub. Welcome back. I appreciate your continued generosity. Yikes.
Keep up the pace.
Could quickly be approaching garbage time here. Don't really have a lot of gas going on, and their Teferi's going to bury us very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and kill their Paradise Druid just because it's currently their second blue source. Which means killing this cuts them off of Frilled Mystic, which gives me more outs to draw. Number 40 in the world currently. 40. We're 49 actually. That's a 9, not a 0. So, Magic does not have regional servers like a lot of other games do. Alright, it'll do big. Now, Teferi makes me want Narset. Makes me want more ways to interact with that. This seems a little bit less than ideal. They have 3 free and big Teferi, so Elderspell's probably fine. What if I get stuck playing against an opponent with high ping? Yeah, that sounds super reasonable. We get to do this into this. No elf on one? God bless. They brought in Time Wipe against us. That's interesting. I guess we did go wide game 1. Do I think I can play around this? I think I can without them having an accelerant. He says his opponent draws a Paradise Druid. So in 2 turns, I can Krasis for 4.
You will be easy.
I think I'd rather... So, like, if I wait a turn here, they can Frilled Mystic my Krasis, but I also just don't think I really care about that. I'm going to start cranking up this Blast Zone. It's good for Diviner later, and it's just, like, a lot of their stuff I might want to blow up is more expensive. So, like, they're going to get to Frilled Mystic my thing, but I'm going to get to draw 2 cards, so, like, it feels like a win for me. Hey, Skoogle, thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Audio is going Mr. Roboto here. Deal. Draw our cards and then restart here really quick. These people are great. Buy or listen to their stuff. These people also great. Check out their stuff. Back to your regularly scheduled Magic Arena. For people that are new to the channel, I don't normally put ad breaks mid-game. There's a bug with my audio driver in Arena, though, that causes the audio to go Mr. Roboto like that, unfortunately. Alright, so they don't have a Frilled Mystic up here, which is nice. So I think I just Roalesk as a blocker. Lets me draw another card, too, off the Kiora. Stinkins, thanks for the very new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you keeping me around. Good. Untap a land here, and then Thought Erasure. Time Wipe is their last spell. I don't think I really want that. I'm looking for cards that draw cards at this point. So they can throw away Frilled Mystic to kill my Kiora if they would like. But that's not that big of a deal. Worth noting, like, Narset's a pretty good draw here, because not only would it generate card advantage for us, but it would put my opponent in a position where they can no longer rip Hydroid Krasis as a great out for them. I'm going to go ahead and kill the Frilled Mystic rather than the one that makes mana, because I don't want them to be able to bounce this later with, like, a 3-free.
Well, this sucks.
Poor Kiora. I'm also just, like, winning this race straight up, which is nice. Look at him pulsate. The great flying, flampling, pulsating Roalesk. I'm gonna attack for 4 and then probably play the Kiora out and just like untap him. Just like untapping this saves a point on the Kiora and like gets the Kiora down and uses my mana. Play a tap land, leave up a Blaststone activation. Like thinking about if like a removal spell here or something. Yeah, legendary 4/5s are pretty great. Frilled Mystic's a good draw. Let me go ahead and chalk this in and just go ahead and trade with their Paradise Druid here, I think. I'm winning the race pretty handily if I do. We've got answers to their next 2 threats. Makes their Krasis draw 1 less card if they rip that this turn. Chiller Method, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. This is definitely the sweetest Roalesk deck I've played. Your goal is playing this card. This is definitely the deck I would recommend.
Leviathans, octopuses, serpents. Oh, I love them all.
I like a lot of what this deck is doing. I feel like we've gotten to a pretty sweet spot with it.
Ripples and
Let me go ahead and trophy this. Well, thanks for keeping me here giving lessons, Chiller. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Just a shorter stream for me this morning. I'm planning to go for another 3 hours or so. And then I'll be wrapping up because the MPL is having their first stream this afternoon. I would like to keep the old one. And then you get to put counters on this and then double proliferate. So this draws a card and it pumps up the jam on all of these. Oh, that's true. It's probably worth trophy. Well, their draw step lets them draw a counter spell. So no, actually, I don't think it's worth doing that. I don't really want to raise. I don't really want to risk it. Roalesk also covers the window of this is a legendary that doesn't suck to draw the second copy of, which is nice. Which is something I look for in Legends, right? Especially when I want to play 3 or possibly even 4 of. Like, if I'm going to play more than 2 of a Legend, I usually want it to not be awful in multiples, and Roalesk definitely passes that criteria. Morning, Zintoth. Yep, be sure you have notifications turned on if you want notifications of when I go live. I normally stream Monday through Friday about 8 a.m. till about 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon, but I do plan to do some random weekends here and there. Well, I'll probably be off next weekend because I'm planning to play in the NRG Modern Tournament next weekend. Oucho! Keep up the great work. Thanks for keeping me here. Stands pretty good. If we draw lands 3-4, we're going to be in a very good spot. Fantastical. They could be, this could be the Reclamation matchup. Yeah, main deck Negate makes me think Reclamation. Now, hopefully we draw blue source next turn and really get to apply pressure here. Perfect. So, this is what you need. It's Disruption plus a clock. So we've got this Assassin's Trophy here. And we've got some good creatures to get the beat done with. Well, the important thing to remember is I don't really climb the ladder particularly quickly, at least in terms of, like, efficiency. Remember, I play a lot of Magic here. My recommendation for decks if you're looking to climb the ladder extra fast would be the green-red Sarkhan deck and the white splash-blue aggro deck, both of which you can find on the standard decks page of my website. $100 gets you most tiered decks on Arena as a one-off purchase, from my understanding. The exact price it costs to get a specific deck varies depending on how many rares are in a given deck. Is the bottleneck most of the time. But three color decks full of rare lands tends to be, would really love to draw Assassin's Trophy here, because we could kill this and then tag another one. That's a Blast Zone of our own for later, perhaps. We are unfortunately one damage short of playing Roalesk here and killing them with it. So I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and attack for 8 here, and then plan to charge up my Blast Zone, because if I get another turn, my Blast Zone can kill the Search for Azcanta. Yeah, that's the way the arena system works. Your nth deck always costs less than your n-1, because you incidentally have cards from it. It does kill my Invasion too, but my Invasion isn't really relevant at this point. Add this to Bant Bow. Will do, Mark. Thanks for the support. Yep. So, like, it feels bad to not get another turn, but currently the only thing they're doing with their extra turn is, like, adding another card to their Search for Azcanta. So if they don't flip this, I don't mind them taking extra turns. It's a link. Thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep. So now if they have a Nexus of Fate, we're getting into some sketchy territory here. Again, kind of showing one of the real upsides of the Wilderness Reclamation deck in this format in general, in that I have cards like this in my deck that just aren't good in this matchup game 1. Yep. So again, opponents still not generating any real card advantage, just kind of spinning their tires here. It's when they start, like, casting Chemist's Insights or having a Planeswalker in play or a flip Search for Azcanta explicitly that they really start to worry us that we likely don't get another turn. But currently, my opponent not doing a whole lot with what's going on. So the Chemist's Insight's very good here. If they find a Nexus of Fate with this Chemist's Insight, we are very unlikely to get another turn. Morning Troll. This deck's actually been really good. So if they miss here, we're pretty likely to win. But if they hit, we're probably dead. I guess they're still one card off of flipping their Search for Azcanta. They're floating a mana here, so I assume that means we're not getting another turn. We're blinking my Kefnet, sure. That means they're not taking another turn here, so that's good for me. And actually, they paid 4 here, so I'm going to bounce my Kefnet in response. And the reason why I'm doing this is by removing the target of their Blink of an Eye, my opponent doesn't draw a card, because when a spell loses all of its targets, it's countered upon resolution. So they did not draw a card from this Blink of an Eye because I scorned my card in response. And apparently they don't have a Fog in their hand, so they're dead. And again, that game there, it just, like, really captures why Reclamation is so miserable to play against, right? Like, we ended up winning, but I sat there feeling bad the entire time because I just, like, have no idea, like, are we going to get to do the thing? Or is it, like, are they just going to end up killing us? Alright, I think I like this sideboard plan. Probably don't mind, like, 1 Hydroid Krasis staying in. It's not a particularly aggressive card, but it's, like, fine with Soul Diviner. I could also see an argument for, like, Tyrant Scorn staying in, because sometimes they board in some creatures. I'll leave in one of these. And the way I'm sitting here thinking about, like, maybe I want to leave 1 Krasis in, this could be a sign to me that my sideboard's not currently constructed ideally, and I might want 1 more card in my sideboard that can come in this matchup. So, like, perhaps the 4th Tyrant Scorn that's currently in my sideboard could be a 4th Assassin's Trophy, because that's a card that's actively good in this matchup. Hey, Azandra coming in hot with the big tip. I've had some downtime, so it's been great catching your live streams. I just watched the Green Black Citadel YouTube vid. Keep up the awesome content and put this towards the deck of your choice. We'll get that put towards Green Black Citadel, because that deck's a total hoot. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate the support. Pretty easy mulligan here with no blue mana. This hand doesn't have green mana, but it's definitely a keep. And deal. Is it bad that the only time I enjoy watching my opponent loop decks is after I've milled them out of everything else? They're just, like, sitting there doing nothing? That's also a pretty good draw. Salty Spike coming in hot with the 5-month resub. Welcome back. A single Spyglass might be better than the 4th trophy. Spyglass can come in against non-reclamation decks too, and I can't imagine 4th trophy coming against anything. I don't think that's true. I think I would definitely bring in 4 trophies against a lot of these Planeswalker mid-range decks. A lot of these 3-color decks don't have that many basic lands in them, so, like, by the time you cast the 2nd or 3rd trophy, it's basically a free roll. The second or 3rd trophy is often just Vindicate.
Not to brag, but my friends, I
in Paper Magic, the Nexus player would be forced to concede if they don't have a win condition in their deck, and you have a win condition. In Paper Magic, it is against the rules to enter a loop where you can't tell me the outcome of it. So if you're looping without progressing the game state, you're breaking the rules of Magic. It's by definition stalling. So in Paper Magic, if you can do nothing but take extra turns with Nexus, you will be DQ'd, disqualified from the tournament, because you are stalling. So I don't have a ton of disruption in my hand right now, so I'm definitely just, like, pounding this Diviner to, like, try and find some.
You're making me crabby. Time to clam up.
If the person doesn't know what they're doing is defined as stalling, if they know what they're doing, it's against the rules, Garden Variety Troll. But if they don't know, they will tell them, don't do this, it's not allowed past the turn. But if they know what they're doing, you are knowingly breaking the rules, it's considered stalling, which is cheating.
Weakness leaving the body.
I love to make a splash.
Yeah, if you have a different card in your deck that you could draw, it's not... Actually, that's a loose territory, too. Because technically, that's not a deterministic loop. You get into, like, 4 Horsemen territory at that point. And again, I'm not a judge. There's a lot of great places that you can ask judges for official rulings on stuff. In fact, if you're talking in this chat, it means you are a subscriber to my stream. And you should pop on into the subs Discord where there is a judge role. So if you're in the Hoaglandia Discord, in the Magic General channel, you can type @judge and then your question, and then an actual Magic judge will answer your question at some point. Usually they're pretty quick. Those are people who have verified with me that they're magic judges who have said they're willing to answer questions on the Discord server for people. So you are not annoying them by asking them questions there. They have volunteered their services to do that.
The ocean surges life.
I'm gonna draw the most cards possible here because I could hit like if I find a negate to protect this Thought Erasure, I think that's reasonable. Well, definitely taking Tamiyo. Not looking for another land. Now the question becomes, what do I want to do from here? Is it just get Dreadhorde going? It's probably just get Dreadhorde going, huh? I don't have a lot of good pressure here or disruption. I've drawn this awkward mix of a lot of lands.
Alive for a life.
The MPL thing starts later, so I'm streaming until the MPL thing starts. So the MPL thing starts about 2.5 hours from now. There isn't a direct link to the Discord. You have to join the server using a, what's it called? Well, Azcanta's not very good here unless they're taking a turn. I guess it's like -3 loyalty off my Planeswalker. Which is otherwise drawing me cards.
I was getting bored anyway.
Alright, so if I roll Sultai, I get to draw a card off of that, but I feel like I need to draw Disruption that I can hold up this turn. That's fine for me. I'm gonna go ahead and pass here because I want to negate if they play like a Wilderness Reclamation here. No, you'll need to wait until you get home. Do I want to negate this or do I want to just Elderspell it? I think I just negate it because they can just like pick up another Tamiyo and loop them. Yeah, Diviner. When Diviner gets left unchecked, it draws a lot of cards.
Its pain is our gain.
I guess I could have sacrificed this, but I kind of need to get pressure going at the same time here.
I don't die that easily.
So I don't have any disruption here, which means if my opponent hits really well next turn, they could kill us. But that being said, I don't think it's worth bluffing disruption. I think my opponent's likely to just jam regardless, so I think I just want to use my mana here and get my threat into play. That's also going to draw me more cards ASAP. So if they hit land plus Wilderness Reclamation here, we might not get another turn. But they didn't, God bless. Correct, yes. You can activate Diviner to take the counter off Blast Zone to, oh, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to start eating my lands yet at this point. It's kind of close. I feel like my hand's bad enough that maybe I'm supposed to start eating my lands. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to start eating my lands there. Yeah, cause like I'm in territory where like I'm not spending my mana every turn, right? So I think I definitely should have eaten a land there. There's a good chance we're a bit flooded here. We're not going to get to do anything. So I've drawn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I'm actually not that flooded. I've drawn... So one of the things that I think is important to note, because you hear people complain about flooding out a lot, right? Is that I have drawn 13 lands and 25 cards, but I've drawn half my deck. So I've drawn almost half my deck. So I've drawn a little over half my lands and about half my deck. So I'm not actually that far outside of the statistical average right now. Yeah, we're batting about 50%. And I also think that I've made a bit of a mistake here, and I should have been more aggressive trying to draw cards with this Vraska. I think I could be down like 2 lands right now and have be 2 cards deeper into my deck, which could be the difference between winning this game or not. And currently my opponent is still kind of in spinning their tires territory. They have a lot of Chemist's Insights here though, so they might pull through to somewhere stronger. Yeah, Diviner drew a lot of cards, but they weren't exactly the ones we were looking for. I'm gonna wait till they have a Planeswalker or a Flipped Ascanton to concede. That's when it's competitively correct to concede. It's already tedious, but if I'm playing to win, I think the right balance between playing to win and making them do it is waiting until they have a consistent source of card advantage. Because currently they're still in tire spinning territory. Like they get a bunch more draws here. So like they get a crack off this Memorial to Genius too. But I'm not going to concede if they take a turn here. I'm going to concede if they take a turn with a Planeswalker or another thing in play. Alright, and they bricked off. I get to draw 4 more cards this turn, right?
As long as we win, nothing else matters. I can take it. Oh, good hit. Don't let it go.
Oh, I should have ticked this up, right?
Try harder than that.
I could have ticked this up and I didn't. It's not bad manners to make your opponent play out their Nexus combo. It's just that if you're a reasonable adult with a life, it's bad expected value on your part to do so. Like, what do you stand to gain by making them click through it, right? It just wastes a bunch of time, yeah.
You will be excellent.
So this is gonna name Nexus of Fate, and then if they hit here, I'm gonna concede. Because we are very unlikely to, they're very unlikely to brick from this point with Tamiyo. Yep. And this is why Tamiyo is so good, because she thins their deck to a point where they're unlikely to brick. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I gave up a couple percentage points in that game because I didn't start drawing cards by Vraska soon enough. And there's a chance we could have played through that flood if I would have done that. Thoughts on building the sideboard in Citadel to board into a Golgari deck and board out. My meta is full of decks to make it difficult to put the combo together and have unward egos thrown at me. I've thought about it. I mean, there's plenty of matchups where we board out the combo. So to answer your question, yes, boarding out the combo is fine. That's something you see me do on stream fairly often if you watch the leagues. His hand's like not amazing, but I definitely think it's in the range of keepable. Discard spell, all my colors, Vraska. I guess I technically don't need to shock there. And Opt lets them look 1 card deeper, but Growth Spiral lets them set their mana up sooner, so. That's true. Getting Unmoored Ego as the Green-Black Citadel deck should make you ecstatic. In fact, your opponent boarding in Unmoored Ego into you is not a reason to board out Citadel, because Unmoored Ego is always card disadvantage. It's not good.
Everyone is expendable.
In the aggressive matchups, the full combo comes out, Troll. If they hit a Tamiyo or a Reclamation here, I'm a little bit sad that I'm not holding Negate up, but I think it's right to get my Planeswalker going here. Although we're still a little bit far off of a point where I'm going to be drawing cards with her. Ugin is very good, and Ugin is both very good, and I don't think Liliana is very good.
It's not often I'm out
In Esper control. I think Ugin does everything Esper is interested in doing, and Liliana does very little that Esper is interested in doing. Why don't I have Narset? Because I haven't drawn it. I agree, this game would go much better if I was luckier. It's a pretty reasonable draw. Am I in the range where I can start sacrificing lands? I think so. I think I want to threat badly enough that getting into that range. This might be a game where we trophy their Blast Zone. Hey, someone asked about drawing Narset.
My prowess is unmatched by my peers. I have just the trick for this.
Do I want to cash this in to draw a card? I don't think I do.
As long as we win, nothing else
I think I want to get a couple more lands going here. I'm going to attack for 4, and when they crank up the Blast Zone at my end of turn, I'm going to trophy it. So, like, the God-Eternal and the Vraska obviously aren't disruption, but they're the way I'm actually going to kill them. So, I'm hoping I get another turn here. I might not get another turn if their hand's exceptional. I think their hand has to be exceptional for me to not get another turn from here, though. Oh, yeah, opt into the Narset. Nice. How about a glowing red no? I'm a big fan of the glowing red no. Big fan of the glowing red no. Ah, the old scry to the bottom, and then cast Nexus and shuffle your deck. A true classic. Ooh, that's good. Reveal trophy. Yeah, I think I do reveal trophy, right? Because I get a freebie. Like, I'm going to cast this and kill your Memorial to Genius that's tapped. Bye, Felicia. The red rings make me feel things on my insides, right? You and me both. This is just like, yep, yes, please, all of that. Negate.
Hone your prowess.
Oh. Gosh, can our deck beat Wilderness Reclamation? Is that a thing you're telling me we can do?
Its loss will serve us.
And we actually have lethal next turn, right? We have lethal with Vraska, because she ultimates and then God-Eternal Kefnet hits them. And if they crack this, they only draw 1 here. And they have to beat Negate plus trophy. They know all 3 of my cards in my hand. And so they know our hand is great. I'm gonna do this before I ult my Vraska, just so things don't go sideways on me. Yeah. Yeah. Get out of here. Sweet. I think I might throw this one up on my website. That felt like a really good set. This deck felt like it was super well-rounded. I felt like I had the tools to be competitive in most directions. I think I might, I do feel like I want like one more card in the sideboard for that matchup, and I think I might just round out my set of Assassin's trophies here. I think trophies in a pretty good spot in the format with Reclamation running around. Seems sweet. So that's a reason why the deck is good, though. So the observation that this deck was winning because it's Sultai good cards more and less because it's Diviner deck is why it's good. This is a deck that's cohesive and doing things that are just good when you don't have Diviner. And when we do have Diviner and it lives, the deck goes into overdrive. That is how you want to build synergy decks. You want to build them so when your synergies get picked apart or don't come together, your deck is still cohesive, but when they do get together, your deck's playing at an 11, basically. Yeah, I think that seems pretty reasonable overall. I could also see a world where, like, if I want to hedge control a little bit, or Nexus, like, maybe we don't want these cruelties in the main, and we, like, want some cards in the main that are, like, flexible in more matchups. Like, maybe these cruelties are better off as Vraska's Contempts in the main, just because Contempt isn't a blank against Esper or Reclamation, because it kills Tameo there, too. I think that's probably the final swap I make. I think I like that. Gives you less dead draws game one. So, for those of you that want that final list, I'm gonna upload that there. It felt like we were pretty competitive against the aggro deck, Civilized Scholar. We have 2-3 blockers for 2, which are relevant, and we have a whole grip full of Enter the God-Eternals, which are very, very powerful. And more importantly, off of Kiora, you can turn 3 Enter the God-Eternals. So the latest iteration there is in Stream Decker for those that want it. It'll be up on my website